and welcome. Tonight, President Tinubu hails joint Nigeria-US counterterrorism operation that killed the Islamic State leader Abu Bilal al-Manuki in the Lake Chad region. Former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan and the Anglican Primate Most Reverend Henry Ndukuba call for a more decisive action to end rising insecurity across the country. Building collapses in Durumi area of the Federal Capital Territory claims 5 lives, leaves several others injured. And Taiwan insists it's a sovereign, independent nation after U.S. President Donald Trump cautioned it against formally declaring independence from China.
On sports news tonight, Ghana forward Anton Semenyo scores a superb goal as Manchester City completes a domestic cup double by defeating Chelsea to win the FA Cup.
In a major blow to terrorism, senior ISIS leader Abu Bilal al-Manuki has been eliminated in the Lake Chad Basin. President Bola Tinubu praised the operation, calling it a significant milestone in Nigeria's security partnership with the United States. In a message released on his X handle, the president states, "Our determined Nigerian armed forces, working closely with the armed forces of the United States, conducted a daring joint operation that dealt a heavy blow to the ranks of the Islamic State." Early assessment confirmed the elimination of the wanted IS senior leader, along with several of his lieutenants during a strike on his compound in the Lake Chad Basin. He adds that Nigeria appreciates this partnership with the United States in advancing shared security objectives and extends his sincere gratitude to President Donald Trump for his leadership and unwavering support in this effort. The breakthrough announced by President Tinubu follows a successful coordinated air and land operation by the Joint Task Force Operation Hadinkai and its U.S. partners. The precision strike conducted in the early hours of today in Borno State targeted and eliminated high-profile Islamic State terrorists. The operation follows sustained intelligence and surveillance efforts which confirmed the presence of a high-value target that al-Manuki, the ISIS global second-in-command and the most senior Islamic State of West Africa province ISWAP leader, alongside several of his key fighters within a concealed enclave. The terror leader was a prominent figure within ISWAP's hierarchy with links to transnational terrorist networks operating across the Lake Chad Basin and the wider Sahel region. He had previously been designated by the United States Department of State as a specially designated global terrorist for his role in facilitating operational coordination and resource mobilization for terrorism. Meanwhile, senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, has raised some issues surrounding the claims that ISIS top leader has just been killed. In a press statement personally signed by him, the senior lawyer says the dangerous terrorist was killed in 2024 by the Patriotic Armed Forces of Nigeria, contrary to the claims by the U.S. President that he was killed recently in a joint U.S.-Nigeria operation, which was also corroborated by President Tinubu. Citing relevant newspaper publications, which reports the killing at the time, Mr. Falana asked the federal government to stop relying on a foreign regime, which he says is incapable of stopping the reckless massacre of thousands of children in gun-related deaths, but instead focus on adequately equipping and maintaining the armed forces. The Defense Headquarters, DHQ, has clarified the circumstances surrounding the death of the terrorist leader. In a statement signed by the Director of Defense Information, Major General Somalia Uba, the DHQ addressed recent media reports referencing a similar 2024 counterterrorism operation that involved a terrorist commander with the same name. It explained that within the northeast region and across the Lake Chad Basin, it is common for ISWAP and Boko Haram terrorists to adopt identical names. This practice is a core component of their program, deliberately designed to shield their true identities. The DHQ concluded by describing the successful precision strike as a significant milestone in Nigeria's ongoing counterterrorism efforts. It adds that the armed forces of Nigeria, in enduring partnership with the United States, remain fully committed to dismantling terrorist networks across the region and will continue to ensure the public is provided with verified and accurate information through its official channels. The presidency has also come out to address the controversy following the elimination of the ISIS leader. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Abayo Ononuga, it acknowledged that his name had appeared amongst lists of suspected ISWAP Boko Haram commanders reportedly killed during operations in Kaduna State. However, security officials have now clarified that the earlier listing was a case of mistaken identity. Intelligence now confirms that the Biringwari theater was never within El Maktouni's established operational center. According to the statement, unlike the previous report, security authorities insist that the latest strike was executed with a significant higher degree of precision, target validation, and multi-source intelligence confirmation. Nigeria woke up today to news of a joint Nigeria-United States military operation that led to the death of a terrorist leader, a news that was marred by reports that the Nigerian military had in 2024 taken credit for neutralizing the same terrorist leader. In this report, we take a look at some of the issues this development raises.
Nigerians woke to the declaration by the United States President Donald Trump that American and Nigerian forces had flawlessly executed a meticulously planned and very complex mission to eliminate what he called the most active terrorist in the world. Abu Bilal al-Minuki, described as the second in command of ISIS worldwide, was taken out in the Lake Chad Basin in Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu confirmed the operation, describing it as a heavy blow to the ranks of the Islamic State. Within hours, a growing controversy emerged. Checks revealed that in April 2024, the Nigerian Defense Headquarters had publicly listed this terrorist among top terrorist commanders neutralized during military operations. The presidency has, however, come out to say that while there was an error in the past, this time they're confident the terrorist has been eliminated. This has a familiar ring to it. Abubakar Shekau, a notorious terrorist commander, was reportedly killed several times over 10 years, only to appear in videos before eventually being eliminated in 2021.
Abu Bakr ibn Mohammed.
The managing director of Beacon Security and Intelligence, Dr. Kabiru Adamu, says there are indications this latest claim may be true.
Given the very high level relief, then it appears that the killing of Abu Mainok, as he's fondly called, is confirmed, at least to the extent that these two presidents have released a statement.
He also suggests ways for the military to restore credibility.
So that would mean, for instance, showing footages of the attack, showing evidence that the individual, Abu Bakr ibn Mohammed ibn Ali al-Mainiki, was actually in that house before it was attacked on the Lake Chad island. So any evidence that is that can be provided by the military to support that, I think, would go a long way toward reducing this credibility question.
He, however, calls for support for the military.
Given the significance of what has been claimed, we have no reason not to give the military the benefit of the doubt. Going forward, I think if the claim happens to be true, it is in our interest. And so we need to support, we need to commend, and we need to continue to encourage the Nigerian military to move in that direction.
As the fight against terrorism continues, Nigerians will want to see the Nigerian forces prevail so peace may be restored in all parts of the country.
The efforts of the military and other security agencies who are constantly on the front lines have been commended by the former president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, and the Anglican Primate, Most Reverend Henry Ndukuba. Speaking as a special guest at the 13th Synod of the Anglican Diocese of Abuja, the former president also called for decisive measures to tackle the country's rising insecurity.
Of the Anglican bishops signals the commencement of the first session of the 13th Synod of the Anglican Diocese of Abuja. Those in attendance include former President Goodluck Jonathan, former Head of State General Yakubu Gowon, former Primate of the Anglican Church Nicholas Oko, among several other dignitaries. Although it is a purely religious gathering, the Anglican Primate speaks on national issues, including insecurity and what should be done to address it.
The recent attacks in Adamawa, Plateau, Kwara, Kaduna, Benue seem as if the bandits and the criminality and the insurgency are on the rampage. Nigeria is bleeding. There is a need for constant review of their strategy and greater improvement.
In a similar vein, former President Goodluck Jonathan condemned acts of senseless bloodletting across the country and calls for continuous prayers for God's intervention.
Look back in the days when we were in school, especially in the university, that one student died from a natural death. The whole university campus will be like a graveyard. But at these days, the decadence in society is so high. I always feel that if religious leaders have not been praying seriously for this country, probably it would have been worse than what we are seeing today.
Away from insecurity, the Anglican priest also speaks on the forthcoming general elections, urging the electoral umpire to maintain utmost neutrality.
We urge the INEC chairman and the commissioners to demonstrate neutrality in partisan politics and fairness in the conduct of the processes leading up to the 2027 and also that all-important election.
Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, happy that they took you to court. I'm happy that the court said what they said. And we don't want you to spoil that good name. And please, if I see you in private, I will still say this. Please keep off for now. Let them just play it. Be the senior citizen that you should be.
The Anglican Synod is the highest governing legislative and decision-making assembly in the Church, which brings together leaders and members to determine church doctrines, address governance issues, and discuss pressing societal issues.
The ECOWAS Parliament has adopted a draft resolution seeking to end the escalating menace of terrorism and violent extremism across West Africa. The Parliament adopted a resolution at the end of its 2026 first ordinary session in Abuja, mandating the Speaker of the Parliament to forward the resolution to the President of the ECOWAS Commission for onward action.
Sahel regions. And so what we need to do is to continue with our diplomatic negotiations with those countries and then the ECOWAS Commission and then the ECOWAS Parliament to see that whatever decision we are taking should not really affect adversely the people in the sub-region. Because you've rightly said that whatever happens affects everybody. It is not about the individual countries, but it is about the people within the entire sub-region and particularly because we're all one and doing things at the same time. It is an unfortunate situation because what we stand for as a sub-region is to come together and see what the Western world and our colonial masters do, which does not help us in our development. And so this is not to mean that we will turn and be fighting among ourselves rather than fighting those who really do things that do not affect us. With the terrorist attack, that one, I think the Mali herself is so worried about it, and we express our sympathy to the government of Mali and then to the families that have been affected. And we are all coming together to fight this common enemy, enemy as a terrorist. And it's not about Mali, Nigeria, Ghana, or Senegal. It's about a common enemy we are all to fight. So it's not only about Mali, it's about all of us. And so it is important that we see ourselves in that light.
In part two, after the break, Nigerian Communications Commission and the National Judicial Institute collaborate to strengthen the technological capacity and legal preparedness of judges to effectively address emerging disputes in the telecom sector. That's in a moment. Join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder about top stories. President Tinubu hails joint Nigeria-US counterterrorism operation that killed Islamic State leader Abu Bilal al-Manuki in the Lake Chad region. Former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan and the Anglican Primate Most Reverend Henry Ndukuba call for a more decisive action to end the rising insecurity across the country. Building collapses in Durumi area of the Federal Capital Territory, claims 5 lives, leave several others injured. And Taiwan insists it is a sovereign independent nation after US President Donald Trump cautioned it against formally declaring independence from China. Five people have been confirmed dead following the collapse of a building in the Durumi 3 area of Abuja near the popular Gudu Market. Speaking on behalf of all responding rescue agencies, the FCT Mandate Secretary for Health and Human Services, Dr. Adedolapo Fasewe, confirmed that a total of 15 people were recovered from the rubble. Amongst them are 10 survivors. 1 remains in critical condition. Our correspondent, Dele Omoyeni, has this report.
This is the Durumi 3 area of Abuja, just after the popular Gudu Market. Tragedy struck this morning as a building came down, and some eyewitnesses give this account.
About 60 people are in the building before it collapsed, and almost 30 are brought out, while some are dead. We pray that God heal and help those who are still alive. That is what I saw. Thank you. People are walking in that building when it fell. I don't know the actual number of people that are involved, but we pray that God will heal those who are still alive.
The Mandate Secretary for Health and Human Services in the Federal Capital Territory, who is on the scene, gives an update on the rescue efforts.
Unfortunately, this is an avoidable incident. If people do the right thing, get building approval, after environmental impact assessment, do soil tests, do integrity tests, then this will not be happening. Today, we have been able to bring out 15 victims. Unfortunately, 5 of them were brought out dead. 9 have been treated and discharged, and there's 1 in very critical situation in the hospital. We have also stationed ambulances here the last man we brought out alive, which is a testimony and a miracle, was stabilized here, treated here on site, and sent to the hospital.
The FCT administration has promised to investigate in a bid to unearth the reasons for the collapse. Daily Omoyeni, Channels Television News.
The federal government has restated its commitment to tackle insecurity, youth unemployment, as well as resettle displaced communities and revive agriculture in the Northwest region. The Minister of State for Regional Development, Mr. Ahmad Uba Megari, stated this in Kano during a 3-day working visit to the state to oversee the takeoff of the Northwest Development Commission. Our correspondent, Abubakar Saliu, reports.
The Minister of State for Regional Development is in Kano for a 3-day working visit to oversee the takeoff of the Northwest Development Commission. Accompanying the minister's entourage to inspect the headquarters and buildings of the Northwest Development Commission in Kano are its pioneer management and staff. After the inspection tour, the minister highlights some of the key areas the commission will accord priority attention when it eventually takes off.
The results of the almost 2 years of the behind-the-scenes brainstorming and research preparations towards the effective takeoff of the commission into being. We have so many things to do. We have our areas. I will leave that for the later, but just by way of highlights, we have as our areas of concern security, which is paramount, of paramount importance to everyone, especially those of us in the Northwest and the Northeast. Then the army of young people roaming the streets, not because they want to, but for lack of what to do. We have programs to train them. We already have a relationship existing between the Commission and so many management consultancy training concerns.
In his remarks, the Managing Director of the Commission assured that states under the Commission will soon begin to feel its impact.
His Excellency, the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has directed for the release of the takeoff, and that is why the minister has come to see for himself our readiness to take off, and everything is well ready for the takeoff. He came, we went around since yesterday, today, and he has seen how prepared we are for the takeoff.
Residents of the Northwest are optimistic that the takeoff of the Commission will alleviate the problems bedeviling the region, as well as provide a platform for healthy regional development. Abubakar Salihu, Channels Television News.
As internet penetration continues to grow and deepen, there's a need for the judiciary to keep intervening in critical areas of connectivity, infrastructure protection, and online safety. This is the consensus as the 2-day workshop for judges on legal issues in telecommunication was just concluded in Lagos. Our judiciary correspondent, Shola Shueli, has this report.
It's a gathering of justices drawn from the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, federal and state high courts, officials of the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC), other telecommunications stakeholders, and members of the media at this workshop between the NCC and the National Judicial Institute (NJI), which aims to adequately prepare the judiciary to navigate the complex legal landscape of a rapidly evolving digital world. The leadership of the NCC speak to the theme of this year's workshop for judges, adjudicating in the digital era, the judiciary's imperative in connectivity, infrastructure protection, and online safety.
Nigerians are consuming data at an unprecedented level. In March alone, Nigerians consumed over 1.42 million terabytes of data. Putting this in another way, it's the equivalent of Nigerians watching over 15 million hours of high-definition videos every day. Broadband penetration has risen from 4.70% last year to 54.30% this year. This means more Nigerians are getting access to faster and better internet services. As digital transformation takes shape in Nigeria, there is no doubt that the judiciary will play a pivotal role in shaping the future, ensuring that it remains innovative, secure, and inclusive, and firmly rooted in the rule of law.
Every time we celebrate a milestone in the industry, that we have more sites, we have deeper penetration, as those things move, crime moves with it. And the way crime is committed in this industry is done at the speed of 5G. So we also need justice to move at the speed of 5G.
In its remarks, the leadership of the judiciary noted that it can no longer remain detached from digital technology realities and the growing role of the courts in shaping Nigeria's digital future through informed, technology-conscious judicial decisions.
At the same time, it must be clearly recognized that the possibility for strengthening governance within specialized sectors of the digital economy is not borne by the judiciary alone. Judgments of courts are not merely advisory opinions. They constitute authoritative statements of the law and form an essential framework within which regulatory discretion must operate.
Furthermore, while the judiciary's contribution is central, the necessity of interagency collaboration in safeguarding telecommunications infrastructure cannot be overstated.
Stakeholders also emphasized that informed judicial decisions in a rapidly evolving digital environment would significantly influence investor confidence, regulatory certainty, and public trust necessary for national stability. Shola Shoyele, Channels Television News.
The National Bureau of Statistics says Nigeria's unemployment rate is lower than that of the United States and the United Kingdom. However, new data from the Bureau also shows that some Nigerians work in the informal economy with no contacts, no pensions, and no job security. So what is the true state of jobs in the country? Our business correspondent, Sarah Chimugu, takes a look at the numbers and how they affect Nigerians.
The Nigerian labor force, busy, resilient. For as many that are employed, many more are said to be unemployed. But official data says unemployment fell to 4.3% in the second quarter of 2024 from 33% in 2020. What changed? The methodology. Since 2023, the NBS has defined unemployment as anyone who worked for pay or profit for at least 1 hour in the last 7 days.
The business is not really my own, though I'm a graduate. And I'm into business, real estate, because I couldn't find a job after school. That's about 14 to 15 years ago. So presently, I'm doing my own business just to earn a living. And in a day, I work for almost 10 to 11 hours. So if I should reduce it to 7 hours in a month, it's clear that I cannot earn a living in Nigeria, considering the nature of the economy presently.
Okay. John Paul reflects a wider trend.
Business was moving small. Out of 60,000 where I spent, I just got like 5,000. So we are just managing it small.
According to the NBS unemployment figures, 92.3% of employed Nigerians are in the informal sector. Youth unemployment stands at 6.5%, while 13.7% of young people are not in education, employment, or training. The NBS maintains it is using International Labour Organization standards. But economists and members of the Nigeria Labour Congress argue that the metric misses the point.
Engineer private sector for putting more jobs in the market and employing people. You know, the goal of private sector is profit making. So if it's not good enough, then they are not going to go for it. So the government job is to look at what will drive employment and also drive profit for private sector, and put your energy in that. You're not going to see unemployment for 1 hour a week go down to about 2%. When you are able to do that and manage that, then we are on track. If you are not able to do that, I am sorry. We still have each problem with us right now.
Unemployment is defined as the number of people who are willing to work and seeking job and could not get it. You can't change
in Nigeria because in almost all the industries, you don't even almost 90% of jobs today are in the informal sector. So it is even the issue of decent job is not all about getting employment from government letter-headed paper. It's all about what you take home.
The federal government says interventions are underway, but for millions like John Paul, the unemployment rate is not on a chart. It is in his pocket. Sarah Chimugu, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprises says additional interest rate hike could further weaken the real sector as the CBN's Monetary Policy Committee prepares for its second two-day policy meeting for this year. That's in a moment. Join us again. The rising insecurity has been linked to the poor management of the economy, which has caused hardship, high inflation, and unemployment for many Nigerians. That's according to the 2027 presidential aspirant of the African Democratic Congress, Mr. Mohammed Hayatuddin. At a meeting with party members in Abuja, he restated the ADC's commitment to pursue reforms that will create jobs and revamp the nation's economy.
Across the world, countries that create jobs at scale build stronger economies and more stable and prosperous societies. Countries that fail to create opportunities often become trapped in cycles of insecurity and social unrest. And ladies and gentlemen, it is the fact that there is so much banditry, terrorism, bloodletting and carnage in this country is not a mystery. It's just tied to the economy. You have a very poor and weak economy. The net result is that you have a highly unstable society. Jobs matter because jobs change lives. Jobs reduce poverty. Jobs put food on the tables of Nigerian families. And jobs also help reduce the supply of recruits available to criminal gangs, terrorists, and violent networks. They say a hungry person is an angry person. I refuse to accept the continued normalization of fear, criminality, and lawlessness in our country. No nation can develop sustainably when citizens live under a constant shadow of fear. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, on day one of my administration, the assets of those financing criminality will be identified and frozen. And the era of negotiating endlessly with violent criminal networks must come to an end.
The All Progressives Congress, APC, has conducted its primary elections for House of Representatives seats across many states through consensus affirmations and direct voting. In some southwest states, the APC House of Representatives primary election turned out to be a peaceful exercise across the majority of the wards.
Security presence at the State Party Secretariat, Acme Road, Ikeja, owing to the All Progressives Congress House of Representatives primary election. Just as expected, the Lagos State Commissioner of Police showed up to ensure smooth movement of electoral officers. The Electoral Committee urges the electoral officers to uphold election guidelines and ensure transparency.
We are here on two instructions, whether we go direct or we go consensus. If you go to the field and all the aspirants have said and submitted themselves that they have agreed to the process that they have given to one person, Your scholarship is there.
Moving to the wards, supporters of the All Progressives Congress turned out at Ward C, St. Peter's Anglican Nursery and Primary School in Ikeja, to support their preferred candidate. Residents wait patiently for the commencement of the exercise, which was yet to kick off as at past 1 in the afternoon. And some of the supporters, both the young and elderly, are determined to re-elect their candidate, James Faleke, representing Ikeja Federal Constituency, facing Olufunke Hassan.
Presently, we didn't have any other person than Honorable James Faleke. He has been representing us well. He has done extremely well for all the party members and even the non-partisan people.
The reason why I want him to return are numerous. We cannot even count them. Numerous, from the cash grants to the empowerment.
We have a reason for supporting him. Faleke is a very nice man. He is detribalized. He knows how to do the job. He connects with the grassroots. It does not matter where you come from. He connects both the Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, South, and what have you. No rival, no opposition.
In Agege area of Lagos, supporters of the current Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, are also waiting patiently to elect the only candidate for the Agege Federal Constituency.
He has done so many things. We know he's going to do better than what he has been able to do. It's going to be a very big stage, a better stage for him to champion the cause of the good people of Agege at the federal level.
Massive turnout at Ketu Ikosi as followers of Dele Oshinowo and Remi Odunsi show up with their party cards to make bold statements for their candidates, despite the delay of late arrival of election materials.
We have the larger crowd is for Mayor Dele Oshinowo, so he's an aspirant contesting for the position of Federal House of Representatives in Abuja, so for Koshofe Federal Constituency. Then the other one, which is the lesser or smaller one, is for another candidate, Odusi. So you can see the level of acceptability for Mayor Dele Oshinowo. The people actually want him.
We know that when she got to that power, she will do more than what she has done before, and we know that Almighty God will keep her for us.
From Lagos to Ogun State, where Governor Dapo Abiodun joined other APC members for the House of Representatives primary in Ikperu.
The exercise started a bit late because of logistics that arrived late. But I must first thank the party faithfuls for being very patient. You can see that everything has gone very calmly. There is no violence, there is no rancor. Everything has gone very smoothly.
In Akure, the Ondo State capital, delegates line up to vote for aspirants of their choice. Some of the party chieftains who also monitored the exercise commend the delegates for conducting themselves.
For us in Akure, going around and seeing the process is amiable, the process is worldwide, and of course, is credible.
While in neighboring Ekiti State, APC aspirant for Ado Ekiti, Irepo Odun Ifelodun Federal Constituency 1, Yemi Olayinka, has condemned threats and intimidation targeted at his camp, saying he has defeated imposition by participating in the National Assembly primary election.
Nobody can intimidate us, and that's exactly what we have proved today, that look, we all belong here. And if it's just 2 votes, we have shown them that look, we are ready to continue with the battle.
Meanwhile, the incumbent lawmaker seeking a 3rd term in office, Shola Fajaba, dismissed allegations that his candidacy was being imposed on party members.
Did you see any evidence of imposition? Was there any, did we coerce anybody out of the 362 people that killed behind me? So politicians can say whatever they like, but the fact shows by itself.
The results collated at the end of the exercise will determine who represents the party come on election day in January 2027.
Meanwhile, in Delta State, the governor, Sharif Eweriwuri, has commended the peaceful and transparent conduct of the APC House of Reps primaries, describing the exercise as a sign of the party's unity and growing strength ahead of the 2027 elections. Speaking after voting during the Okwe Saplewiye primary, the governor praised party members for the large turnout and peaceful atmosphere. In Anyocha Oshimili Federal Constituency, Right Honorable Undudi Elumelu emerged winner of the APC primary after results were collated at the Oshimili South Council Secretariat.
They have been on ground since 9 a.m. waiting until the returning officer came in around 11 and we all got here. You can see the way everything is going, the peaceful manner of the conduct of the primary for the House of Rep in the Okwe Sapele Federal Constituency. People are happy and the federal constituencies are united and they've done their voting, and also this will also be implicated in the main election. So the ward is united, and I believe too the local government will also be united, and the federal constituency.
Indeed, I do not take it for granted, and I assure you that your decision is not misplaced. Your decision today is significant not only because it is coming as a reinforcement of the confidence of our party reposed in my capacity to deliver, but also as an undisputed reflection of the wishes and consensual will, the overwhelming majority of our people, that is spread across the four local governments, which include Anyocha North, Anyocha South, Oshimili North, and Oshimili South areas.
Governor Hope Uzodinma has also commended the peaceful conduct of the exercise across 10 federal constituencies in Imo State. The governor made the remarks shortly after casting his vote at the Oru East Local Government Area Headquarters, the designated venue for his federal constituency primary election, and noted that the party in the state adopted option A4 system and direct primaries.
3, 4, 5, 6.
So we have to comply with the requirements and regulations of the party. The strength of All Progressive Congress is our grassroots base. So it is important that democracy is not only respected, but seen to be implemented. So I'm very happy that our party today came out en masse in their numbers to comply with the party regulations of direct primaries, option A4. It is unprecedented, and it is also an example I've set for other political parties to emulate. Democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
One of the victorious aspirants for the Ohaje, Bema, Oguta, and Oru West Federal Constituency, Eugene Deabu, said he will work to ensure the party's success in the general elections.
What I advise my challengers is to take it in the spirit of the business, of the game, of politics. And after now, I'll try as much as possible to reach out to them and see how we can come together and deliver APC, because the challenge ahead is more than what we are saying today. What we did today is just an internal business. We are going to face the main election in 2027. So if we are united, it is very, very easy, even though we are on ground as a party. APC is very strong in Imo State.
Away from politics now. With the private sector providing nearly 60% of healthcare services in the country, experts say stronger collaboration with international organizations is crucial to improving the nation's healthcare system. The Chief Executive Officer of Diamed Center, a multi-specialty hospital in the heart of Lekki, Dr. Abiola Olurede, says such partnerships play a vital role in achieving universal health care coverage and tackling persistent challenges such as high maternal and child mortality rates.
Healthcare is a multidisciplinary approach, and I've always believed in partnerships. That's where you've been trained, because if you have partnerships, because not one person has all the skills and knowledge to. So what we've tried to do is that we've tried to engage in some partnerships to improve better healthcare and services for our patients. One of the partnerships we have is Hospitals for Humanity. Save Our Little Hearts. What this does is an international NGO that uses, there has a team of nurses, doctors, and other healthcare workers from all over the world, and they come to Nigeria twice a year to do open heart surgery for children, which is heavily subsidized. So for since November 2024, we've been hosting them. So they come in November and May, and we host them. And in the last, so they've been for 4 times. They've had over 50 surgeries they've done on children.
To watch the full interview, tune in to the Diamet Center documentary, Where Healing Begins and Hope Grows, airing on all our platforms on Sunday, 12 p.m. and 12:30 p.m. To aviation now, Governor Dauda Lawal has described the airlifting of Zamfara pilgrims from the newly constructed Gusau International Airport to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as a dream come true. The governor stated this during the official departure of the first batch of pilgrims for the 2026 Hajj from the Gusau International Airport in the state capital.
History was made in Zamfara State as it officially joined the League of States operating international air travel services through the Gusau International Airport project. Excitement filled the atmosphere as a MAX Air Boeing 777 aircraft landed at the airport at about 4:30 p.m. on Friday to airlift the first barge of intending pilgrims to Saudi Arabia for the 2026 Hajj exercise. No fewer than 415 pilgrims were transported in the inaugural flight out of the total 1,451 intending pilgrims from the state. The pilgrims expressed joy and excitement as they boarded the aircraft amid cheers and prayers from family members, government officials, and well-wishers who gathered to witness the historic event. Speakers at the occasion commended Governor Dauda Lawal for fulfilling his promise of completing the Gusau International Airport project and ensuring that Zamfara pilgrims are airlifted directly from the state to the Holy Land.
I'm proud to stand here, most especially looking at the big aircraft that landed. So all the smallest aircraft that they thought or they think they cannot land, so the father of their father have landed. I'm happy that it's during our regime when my coursemate as commander 207 quick response is the commander. So our coursemate are calling us that we have achieved this mega work.
If any one of us has deep confidence in God, the Almighty, whatever you desire, don't think it's too big. God will fulfill it. As He has fulfilled our desire to get our pilgrims to Saudi Arabia from Gusau.
Addressing the gathering, the governor described the event as one of the happiest moments of his life, noting that the airport's project represents a major breakthrough in the state's transportation and economic development.
I can remember we started this on the 18th of June 2024, which is roughly about 2 years. And Alhamdulillah, it has become a reality today. Our pilgrims are flying directly from Gusau today to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, where they'll be performing this year's Hajj. Instead of going through either Sokoto or Kano as it used to be in the past. This is the beginning, and we've already started talking with other airlines that will fly directly into Gusau International Airport and to the rest of the world, inshallah.
Governor Lawal further disclosed that the Gusau International Airport is now set to commence domestic flight operations from next month.
President Bola Tinubu has commended a proposal by Pan-European Aerospace Corporation Airbus to establish aircraft maintenance and hangar facilities in the country as he calls for faster delivery of attack helicopters to support Nigeria's security operations. According to a statement by his spokesman, Mr. Bayo Nonuga, issued today, President Tinubu made the remarks during a meeting with a delegation from Airbus led by the head of Regional Business Growth for Africa and the Middle East on the sidelines of the Africa CEO Forum in Kigali, Rwanda. The president says Nigeria urgently needs modern aircraft to strengthen ongoing counterterrorism and internal security efforts across the country. The president also expressed Nigeria's readiness to deepen cooperation with Airbus in aviation and defense, including maintenance, financing, and aircraft leasing models. The Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprises, CPPE, says an additional hike in interest rates by the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee may further weaken the real sector by increasing borrowing costs, constraining manufacturing output, and putting pressure on small businesses. In a statement issued by CEO Mr. Muda Yusuf, the economic and policy think tank says Nigeria's economy is currently facing a combination of external and domestic inflationary pressures, including rising global crude oil prices triggered by geopolitical tensions involving the United States, Israel, and Iran. CPP's caution on interest rate hike comes as the CBN's Monetary Policy Committee prepares for its second two-day policy meeting for this year, which is scheduled to hold on May the 19th and the 20th. Let's find out what's happening in the world of sports. Kelly Egiga has details.
Many thanks indeed, Melinda. Super Eagles forward Kelechi Iheanacho has capped his remarkable late-season resurgence with another influential display as Celtic stormed back to defeat Hearts 3-1 in a dramatic Scottish Premiership title decider at Celtic Park today. The victory secured Celtic's fifth consecutive league trophy and their 56th Scottish crown overall, needing a win to serve the Jambos at the top of the table. Celtic came from behind to deny Hearts a first trophy in 66 years. Anton Semenyo has produced one of the greatest English FA Cup final goals with an audacious back flick that sealed Manchester City's 1-0 win against Chelsea at Wembley. Semenyo eliminated a largely scrappy final late in the second half as he improvised in a sublime finish to carry Erling Haaland's cross into the net. The Ghana forward's moment of magic was enough to clinch City's eighth FA Cup triumph, their second piece of silverware this season after the League Cup final win over Arsenal in March. The 36-year-old joins Ricky Villa, Michael Owen, Roberto Di Matteo, and Steven Gerrard among the ranks of iconic FA Cup final goal scorers. But let's bring you up to speed with news just in. Xabi Alonso has agreed to become Chelsea's next permanent head coach on a 4-year deal. The Blues have been looking for a new head coach after Liam Rossignol was sacked in April after only 3 months in charge. The former Real Madrid boss was the #1 target to take over at Stamford Bridge. Well, Chelsea have now moved to secure a manager that won the Champions League twice as a player as well as leading Bayern Leverkusen to an unbeaten Bundesliga winning season in his first campaign as coach 2023-24 season. Chelsea were waiting for the FA Cup final to be out of the way before making an official announcement, which could come as soon as Monday. Just like Chelsea, Manchester United have also reached an agreement with this man, Michael Carrick, to become the club's permanent head coach. The formal process of exchanging contracts, we hear, is now underway, with an announcement expected inside the next 48 hours. Michael will sign an initial 2-year deal with the option of an additional 12 months. The 44-year-old has overseen a vast improvement at Old Trafford since replacing Ruben Amorim, successfully leading the club to Champions League qualification. That's your sports news tonight. I am Kelly Egiga. Melinda, it's back to you.
Many thanks, Kelly. On the international scene, Taiwan has insisted it's a sovereign nation after U.S. President Donald Trump cautioned it against formally declaring independence from China. Mr. Trump's remarks come after a 2-day summit in Beijing, after which he said he had made no commitment either way about the self-governing island, which China claims is part of its territory and has not ruled taking it by force. After talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping, Mr. Trump also said he would soon decide whether to approve a package of weapons to be sold to Taiwan. The U.S. administration is bound by law to provide Taiwan with a means of self-defense, but has frequently had to square this alliance with maintaining a diplomatic relationship with China. A crash between a freight train and a public bus has killed at least 8 people and injured dozens of others in Bangkok. Police and rescue officials said the collision triggered a fire that engulfed the public bus today. Several nearby vehicles were also hit during the incident, prompting firefighters and rescue members to be dispatched. Teams worked to pull injured victims from the wreckage as fire crews contained the blaze. The fire has been brought under control, with crews now working to cool the area and continue the search for the victims. The incident took place near Makassan train station in the city center this afternoon. A rescue diver has died while searching for the bodies of 4 Italians who died in a scuba diving accident in the Maldives. A government spokesperson said Staff Sergeant Mohammed Maldi was taken to hospital in critical condition and later succumbed to his injuries. The 5 Italians died while attempting to explore underwater caves at a depth of about 50 meters. So far, only 1 body is believed to have been recovered from a cave nearly 60 meters below sea level. And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu hailed joint Nigeria-US counterterrorism operation that killed Islamic State leader Abu Bilal al-Manuki in the Lake Chad region. That's the news at 10 tonight. I'm Melinda Akimami. On behalf of the team, good night.